Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. I'm just down checking on my stored summer bulbs. I have Dahlias, Cannas, my Acidanthera, my Ranunculus, and Crocosmia. There's a few things behind this little door here, and that's where I'm storing them over the winter because I live in Saskatchewan, Canada, and it's too cold to overwinter any of those things outside in my climate. But I'll put some links to videos if you're interested in how I store them. But they're just under these stairs here where they stay nice and cool and dark. And every once in a while I like to come and check on them and just make sure that they're not going moldy or getting too dried out or anything in this space. So this is what I'm doing today, and I thought I'd bring you along for it. So I haven't opened the door yet. I have no idea what's under there, and I'm just hoping that everything looks really good. So let's have a look. So there they are. I have crates of various bulbs here, and then some mesh bags with things like, oh, my Gladiolus are in there. Things that don't need to be kept damp, they just need to be kept cool and dark. And yeah, my Begonias, lots of stuff in here. So I'm gonna pull these crates out and have a good look around through them. So I just wanna have a little look, make sure nothing's sprouting yet, and that nothing is moldy. And that's mostly what I'm looking for when I'm going through my summer flowering bulbs in the winter. I just want to make sure that they're not getting shriveled up and dried out, not sprouting, and not getting moldy or diseased looking. So this is some Crazy Love Dahlias. This is just vermiculite that I store them in. And they're just, it's getting a little bit dry. And they still have another month, 6 weeks or so to be in here. And I can feel the tubers are getting a little bit wrinkled up, and they're just getting just a little bit soft, like they want to dry out a bit. So I'm going to get just a little bit of water, moisten down the vermiculite again, and tuck these back in so that they stay nice and damp and moist. I don't want them wet. I don't want them thinking it's time to wake up, and I certainly don't want them molding, but just to give that impression of dampness, I guess, is kind of what we're looking for. And I don't know a better way to describe it. You don't really want it wet, and you certainly don't want it completely dried out. The vermiculite will hold the moisture and just very slowly release it. So I'm not going to put water on the tuber. I'm just going to put some moisture into the vermiculite, mix it around a little bit so that it's there kind of around the tuber. Okay, so I've just filled up a red Solo cup. You could get a spray bottle or something too, just to kind of moisten the vermiculite, but I don't have my spray bottle here, so I'm just gonna pour a little bit in there. And I don't know how you can see, but like the Solo cup was almost full before, and it's just down maybe to there. So I didn't put very much in, and I'm just gonna kind of stir it around. Like I said, I just am wanting to kind of create that tiny bit of dampness, but not wet by any means. And then that tuber was sticking out a little bit, so I'm just kind of digging a little hole, and I'm going to try and bury it down just a little bit deeper. There, you can see this tuber. It's gotten completely shriveled up and wrinkled. This was just broken off. It was probably one that I just stuck in just to see what would happen, but it's definitely not any good in here, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And there's a few more on the side here. They feel much more firm. They're looking good, so we'll just leave them covered up. And now they were nicely covered, so that's probably what was helping them stay just that little bit damper. So we'll cover this one back up. They don't need the cloth over them because they're going in the dark anyways, but just get some out of the way and on to the next one. So this looks like Cannas, and they're a little less fussy in my experience, so I haven't grown a lot of different varieties. And I don't know the variety of this. I've had it for so long I've lost the tag, but like I said, mostly I'm just looking to see if anything looks like it's sprouting or moldy or dried out. And these look perfectly fine. They haven't started to sprout or put down roots or anything yet. And they're not getting dried out. Even though the vermiculite's fairly dry, Cannas are more okay with that. And I'd rather be a little bit on the dry side with them. But these look really good, so I'm just gonna leave those. We'll save this bucket to look at in a minute. I think this is more, what is this? Yes, this is a cafe au lait dahlia, and it's not looking too good. I suspect this one is not going to sprout for me in the spring, but we'll leave it for now. I'll put a little bit of moisture in there, but I think this one's already too dried out. It's been about 6 weeks since I looked at these last, and that might have been too long. I'll try and get this back in some damp vermiculite, and we'll have a see what it looks like in March when it's time to pull it out, but I think it's done. And what do we have here? This is my Begonias, I think. Yeah. So these guys sometimes will be sprouted by now, starting to sprout a bit this time of year, so I like to always have a really good look. If I don't see anything happening that indicates sprouts, I think I just have the 2 in here, yeah. They are also feeling just a hair on the dry side though. Begonias can handle that, drying out a bit more too, but I'm going to give them just a little bit of moisture as well. Stick them back in here. And just a couple bags of more dried out things. Sorry, the furnace just kicked on. So these are orange dreamsicle dahlias. Oh, and they're looking great. They're not soft. They're not dry or mushy in any way. Oops, I just broke a piece off of that one. That one was dried out and done though. So get rid of it. It was so small, it probably didn't have much chance anyways. Now again, the vermiculite is really dry that's in here, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a moisten because we do have about 6 more weeks or so here. Just a splash. Like I said, you don't want to encourage them to rot in that time. Feels like there's another one over here. Oh yeah, it feels really nice too. So looking really good. See if I can get this one buried back under there. It was in there so nicely. It's the trouble with coming to peek at them as they get uncovered. Okay, so the rest of these I'm not really that concerned about, which you might have guessed because I didn't really pay much attention to them. I just skipped by these buckets as I looked at the rest. It's more the Begonias and the Dahlias and the Cannas that I'm more concerned about. The rest of these are just stored dry. They've been hardened off and dried out, and they're just sitting and waiting. So this is some Crocosmia. Looks like Ranunculus. More Crocosmia, just a different variety. Acidanthera right there, I'd say. And my Gladiolus. And because they're just stored dry in these bags, they're not going to get moldy or musty unless I have a real humidity issue in here. And they shouldn't really get too worried about sprouting just yet because again it's pretty dry in there. So yeah, everything looks pretty good other than maybe just a slight bit on the dry side for some of those dahlias. The one cafe au lait might not make it, but my cafe au laits, I've had trouble getting them to store well anyways. I think we're doing all right here for what I was expecting to see, and that's good. 6 more weeks and most of the stuff should get pulled out of here by then anyways, and be getting ready to get planted up. So it looks like, other than maybe the cafe au laits, we're going to make it through the winter and have everything ready to go for spring. So if you checked your summer flower and bulbs lately, if you have any in storage and you've kind of forgotten about them, maybe it's time to have a little look and just make sure you don't have anything that's getting too dry or staying wet and starting to mold on you. Or if you have something sprouting, then you need to just go ahead and pot it up. Get it in a small pot. Anything that it'll fit in is fine for this time of year, in a nice bright light, and just let it start growing on indoors until it's warm enough to put it out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.